What if your dog sleeping next to you every single night is not just a cute habit? What if it is actually a message, a signal, something your dog is desperately trying to tell you and you have been misreading it this whole time? Because here is the truth that most dog owners never figure out. The reason your dog climbs into your bed goes so much deeper than comfort. And some of what it reveals about your relationship and even about your dog's emotional state might genuinely surprise you. Stay with me until the end of this video, because what I am about to share changes the way you see your dog forever. Let's start with something simple. Think about the last time your dog jumped up onto the bed and curled up right next to you. Maybe they pressed their back against your legs. Maybe they rested their chin on your chest. Maybe they circled 3 times and then collapsed with a sigh like they had finally found the one place in the world where everything was okay. You probably smiled. You probably thought, how sweet. But here is what you did not think about. Why that specific spot? Why that specific moment? Why you? Dogs do not do anything randomly. This is one of the most important things to understand about dog psychology, and it is also one of the most overlooked. Every behavior your dog repeats, especially something as consistent as sleeping with you every night, is driven by something deep, something rooted in their instincts, their emotions, and their experience of the world. And once you start looking at it that way, the picture becomes a lot more interesting, and honestly, a lot more emotional. So let us go back to the beginning, not your dog's beginning. Something much older than that. Dogs are descended from wolves. You have probably heard this before. But what most people do not think about is what wolf pack life actually looked like. Wolves sleep together. They do not spread out across the forest in separate dens. They huddle. They press their bodies together. And this is not just for warmth, although that matters too. It is for safety. It is for bonding. It is for communication. In a wolf pack, who you sleep next to is not a small thing. It tells you everything about trust, hierarchy, and connection. Now here is where it gets interesting. Your dog still carries that ancient wiring. Deep inside their brain, underneath, all the domestication and training and years of living in your house and eating from a bowl, that ancient social instinct is still running, still active, still shaping behavior every single day. So when your dog chooses to sleep next to you, they are not just looking for a soft surface. They are making a social statement. They are placing you inside their inner circle. And that is not nothing. That is actually one of the most meaningful things a dog can do, but that is not the real reason. Not completely. Here is what most dog owners do not realize. The choice of where a dog sleeps is also about emotional regulation. Dogs, like humans, experience stress. They experience anxiety. They experience uncertainty. And one of the most powerful ways a dog calms their nervous system is through physical proximity to someone they trust. Your presence, your scent, the sound of your breathing, your heartbeat. All of this works on your dog's brain the same way a weighted blanket works on an anxious human. It brings their cortisol levels down. It signals safety. It tells their nervous system that they can rest, really rest, because the person they depend on is right there. Think about that for a second. Your dog is not just sleeping next to you because they like you. They are sleeping next to you because you are their emotional anchor. You are the thing that makes the world feel safe enough to close their eyes. Now here is where things start to get a little more complicated. Because while all of this sounds beautiful, and it is, there is a flip side that most people never talk about. And it is something that can actually affect your dog's well-being in a very real way. If your dog cannot sleep unless they are next to you, if they pace or whine or show signs of distress the moment you leave the room, if they follow you from room to room during the day and seem genuinely panicked when you are out of sight, that is not just affection. That is anxiety. Specifically, that is what behaviorists call attachment anxiety and in some cases, separation anxiety. And the way it usually starts is with something that seems completely harmless. One night, your dog looks sad and you let them up on the bed. Then it happens again, and again. And slowly, without you even noticing, Your dog starts to build their entire sense of emotional safety around your physical presence. Not just a preference, a dependency. And this is where things get important. Because a dog who cannot self-soothe, a dog who has never learned to feel okay without you right next to them, is a dog who is quietly struggling every single time you leave the house, every time you go to work, every single day. But wait, before you feel guilty, before you start wondering if you have done something wrong, I want you to understand something. This is not about blame. This is about understanding. And there is a difference between a dog who enjoys sleeping with you from a place of security and a dog who needs to sleep with you from a place of fear. One of those is a beautiful bond. The other is something you can gently help your dog work through. And we are going to talk about how. First, let us go deeper into what your dog is actually communicating based on how they sleep with you. Because the position matters. The location matters. And once you know what to look for, your dog's nighttime behavior becomes almost like a language you can read. If your dog sleeps pressed tightly against your body, touching as much of you as possible, this usually signals deep trust and strong bonding. But it can also signal that they are seeking reassurance. Dogs who have experienced abandonment, trauma, or inconsistency often sleep this way. They are not just expressing love, they are holding on. If your dog sleeps at your feet or at the foot of the bed, this is actually a very healthy sleeping pattern from a psychological standpoint. In pack dynamics, sleeping at the feet of a trusted leader is a sign of respect combined with comfort. It says, "I feel safe with you, and I know my place in this relationship." Dogs who sleep this way tend to be emotionally balanced and secure. If your dog sleeps curled up in a ball near you, but not touching you, this can sometimes indicate a dog who is warming up to full trust. Maybe they are newer to your home. Maybe they had experiences that made vulnerability feel risky. The curled position itself is protective. It guards the vital organs. And choosing to sleep near you while still protecting themselves is a transitional behavior. It means they feel safer than they used to, but they are not all the way there yet. If your dog sleeps stretched out flat, completely relaxed, taking up half the bed with zero concern for personal space, congratulations. You have a dog who feels utterly safe. A dog lying on their back with their belly exposed is in the most vulnerable position a dog can be in. And the fact that they do this in your presence means they trust you completely. There is no threat in their world when they are with you, and then there is the dog who sleeps between you and the door, or between you and another person in the room. This one is fascinating. Dogs who sleep in doorways or in positions where they can see the entrance are often naturally alert, protective types. They are not anxious exactly. They are on duty. Even while resting, part of their brain is monitoring. This is especially common in breeds with herding or guarding instincts. And if your dog does this, it is worth understanding that they are not just sleeping. They are working. They feel responsible for keeping you safe. And that is a genuinely touching thing, even if it sometimes means they are blocking the hallway at 2 in the morning. Now let us talk about something that almost nobody addresses when they talk about dogs sleeping with their owners. And this connects back to something I mentioned earlier, but we are going to go much deeper now. Because this is the part that can genuinely change how you approach your relationship with your dog. Here is what most people get wrong. They think that letting their dog sleep with them is either completely fine or completely problematic. People either say yes, let the dog sleep with you, it strengthens your bond, or they say no. It creates behavioral problems, it disrupts sleep, it blurs boundaries. And both of those camps are missing the point. Because the truth is more nuanced than either extreme. The truth is that what matters is not whether your dog sleeps with you. What matters is why. A dog who chooses to sleep with you out of love and security, a dog who could also sleep happily in their own space if needed, a dog who has enough emotional stability to feel okay when you are not physically present, that dog can share your bed and thrive. That is a healthy expression of bonding. But a dog who sleeps with you because they have never been taught that they are safe without you, a dog who panics when separated, a dog whose world revolves so completely around your physical presence that any distance feels like abandonment, that dog is struggling. And they are struggling quietly, in a way that looks like love but is actually distress. The difference matters. And the way to tell the difference is by paying attention to your dog during the day, not just at night. Does your dog settle when you are out of sight? Can they relax in a room by themselves without immediately following you? Do they greet you normally when you come home? Or do they greet you like you have been gone for weeks, even if you just stepped out for 5 minutes? Do they eat well when you are not home, or does their food sit untouched? These daytime behaviors are the real window into your dog's emotional state. And if you are seeing signs of real distress, the kindest thing you can do is not give them more closeness. It is to help them build confidence in their own ability to be okay. This is the part where a lot of well-meaning dog owners make a mistake. When their dog seems anxious, they comfort them more. They let them closer. They respond to every sign of distress with reassurance. And this feels right. Of course it does. You love your dog. But what actually happens from a behavioral psychology standpoint is that the reassurance accidentally confirms the anxiety. When your dog whines and you immediately go to them and say, it is okay, you are inadvertently telling them that their fear was justified. You are rewarding the anxious behavior, and over time the anxiety gets stronger, not weaker. The real solution, and this takes patience, is to help your dog learn that calm gets attention, not anxiety. That being settled, even briefly, in their own space is a good thing. You can do this gradually. You can start by making your dog's own sleeping space incredibly appealing, a comfortable bed, a familiar scent, a piece of clothing that smells like you. You can practice very short separations during the day, rewarding calm behavior with attention and praise. You can avoid making big emotional events out of your comings and goings, because the more dramatic the departure and return, the more your dog learns that these moments are emotionally significant, which feeds the anxiety cycle. None of this means your dog cannot sleep with you. It means you are building the emotional foundation that allows your dog to sleep with you from a place of happiness rather than need. And here is something that took researchers in animal behavior years to fully understand. Dogs who have healthy attachment, meaning they love their owners deeply, but also have confidence in themselves, those dogs actually bond more deeply over time. Because their love for you is not tangled up with fear. It is pure, and when your dog chooses to sleep next to you, to spend their most vulnerable hours, the hours when they are unconscious and defenseless right by your side, they are making a choice that their ancient instincts would never allow them to make, unless they felt something real. You do not sleep next to someone you do not trust. Not if you are a dog. Not if every bone in your body is wired for survival. So here is the thing I want you to walk away with. The thing that has been building through this entire conversation. Your dog sleeping with you is not just a cute habit. It is a window. It is a language. And now that you know how to read it, you can respond to it in a way that actually helps your dog rather than just making yourself feel good in the moment. You can look at how they sleep, where they sleep, what their body language says. You can ask whether your dog is sleeping with you from love or from fear. You can build the kind of relationship where they choose you every night, not because they need you to survive emotionally, but because you are genuinely the best part of their world. And that, right there, is the difference between a dog who tolerates their life and a dog who truly flourishes in it. There is a version of the bond between a human and a dog that is so deep, so genuine, so mutual, that it is honestly one of the most remarkable relationships available to us as people. Dogs evolved alongside humans for tens of thousands of years. They learned to read our faces, our emotions, our moods. They became, in every meaningful sense, emotional partners. And the fact that your dog wants to sleep next to you, night after night, is a small daily reminder of how extraordinary that partnership actually is. Do not take it for granted. Learn the language, pay attention to the signals, and give your dog what they really need, not just proximity, but emotional safety, confidence, and a bond built on trust rather than anxiety. If this video made you see your dog a little differently, tonight, that is exactly what it was meant to do. And if you have a dog curled up next to you right now as you watch this, look at them for a second. Because they chose you. Out of every place they could be, every corner of the house, every soft surface available, they are right there. And now you know exactly what that means. If you want to understand more about what your dog is really telling you through their behavior, there is a whole world of dog psychology that most owners never get to explore. Subscribe so you do not miss what comes next. Because the more you understand your dog, the better their life becomes. And honestly, the better yours does too.